Hey guys, so welcome to another segment of Aspire to Inspire, Inspo with Hot Cocoa. It's your girl Natural Ebb, and today's topic that we're going to talk about is, am I worthy? And just even that title says a lot. Am I worthy? And I know some of you guys probably saying, well, I know my worth. I know I'm worthy. I know this and but truth be told, a lot of people don't know their worth. Especially a lot of females don't know their worth. And so today I want to discuss why you are worthy and what your worth should be, and therefore to hopefully help somebody to realize and to come into just the terms of who they really are. And so that's what's going to be today's topic. So let's get into it. All right, guys, I got my hot cocoa. So let's go ahead and start the topic. So, am I worthy? Now, for a lot of females, I've seen, and then you read stories of these cases where a lot of females get into these relationships with men who do them dirty, and a lot of tragic things happen, unfortunately, that even leads to death. That's just just real talk. And when you go into depth and you read and you figure out exactly what the situation was, then I know for me sometimes I just think like, oh my goodness, like why did she put up with that? Why did she go back? Why did she continuously just go through that woodenly? And so a lot of times I come across females who get in these relationships and they think they know their self-worth until they get in these relationships and let the guy somehow turn them to where they accept things from this guy, whether it be verbally, physically, mentally, everything. Okay, guys, sorry, mother duty calls. So, as I was saying, they get in these relationships and they are so head over heels in love with a guy that they, I want to say, black out, or they don't pay attention to certain signs, because I'm a firm believer. I am a firm believer. If somebody ain't right, if somebody is not right within the head or just any part, they automatically show signs. I am a firm believer in that. Now, whether we choose to see those signs, whether we choose to ignore those signs is a whole nother thing, but I believe people show signs. So they're so in love with this guy that they block out a lot of warning signs, and they think, oh, he loves me and I love him, and I know that I can change him. I know that I can make him better. Let me tell you something, honey. You cannot change somebody who don't want to change. You cannot help somebody that don't want to be helped. And that is a 100% fact. I don't care what anybody says. That is a fact. Somebody who does not want to change or does not want help, you cannot help that person. They have to want to do it within themselves. No matter how good of a person you may be, if they don't have the drive, if they don't have the motive, if they don't have the ambition to be better, then they're not going to be better. And that's just being real. They're not going to be better. So a lot of times females think that they can change a guy, that they can change and make him better, when in reality, he doesn't want to be better. He doesn't want to change. And then the female's love blinds them to these warning signs to say, hey, okay, you need to take a look at this. Something ain't right. He's something is not, a flashlight is going off. Something's not right. But because the love that they may have for this guy blinds them, then unfortunately that leads to disaster. And Love is a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've told you guys, I've been with my husband. We've been married 12 years now. And love is a beautiful thing. But what I can truly say, love is not abuse. Love is not abuse. I mean, physically and mentally and verbally. It's not abuse. Love is not disrespect. Love is not anything that's negative. Love is meant to be a beautiful thing. That's what God created love for, to be a beautiful thing. And if it's portrayed in another light that is not of that, then that's not its intent. That's not what love is. And so females have to realize, no matter how much you may love a guy, if he does not love as hard, then it's only going to lead to disaster. And that's just being honest. I'm a firm believer, because women, we're nurturers. We tend to connect, I feel like, quicker than men does, or than men do. And therefore, when we connect so much with emotion and so much with our hearts that we attach easily. And so therefore, I'm a firm believer, and this can be a debate, but honestly, I'm a firm believer that a man may not love as easily as a woman, but I feel like that a man should love harder than a woman. Because if a man loves harder than a woman, and he knows for a fact that his love is 100% no question for you, then that is a recipe for a wonderful, to me, relationship and eventually marriage. That man has to know that he is absolutely in love with you and that you are his one and only. That's the only time that I truly believe that relationship will work. And it's proven. It's proven that it is possible. It is possible. Sometimes it's not easy to find, but it is possible. Me and my husband, I love my husband, and I know my husband loves me twice as much, because he's told me, he absolutely 100% knew that I was the one. He knew that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me, and that there was nobody else for him. And I truly, truly believe that. And that also, to me, made me fall in love with my husband even more. And just knowing that security that I have with him. So that's something that I truly believe that most women need to realize, that you can love hard, but a man must love harder. And that's just being 100% real. And so that is, like I said, that's a recipe for a good relationship. Now, I also believe that a female needs to know who she is internally, within her mind, her soul, her body, before she gets into a relationship. Henson, y'all, I'm sorry. But hence, do you know your self-worth? If you don't know that you are worthy, if you don't know that you deserve better, in terms of, hey, I know that I'm worth this. I'm not going to take the BS. I'm not going to take no kind of insult. I'm not going to take no kind of foolishness from anybody. Then, honey, then you are unstoppable. Trust me when I say you are unstoppable. But you have to know that within yourself, that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of just being taken care of as a woman by a good man, that you are worthy of that. But if you don't know your self-worth, then to me that's easy. That's an open door for anybody, a man or anybody, friends, whatever, to come swoop in and just honestly just use and mistreat you any kind of way. I always said, and this is something that because my daughter is 8, so she still, she still has time to grow into her womanhood. She's not there yet, but one thing that I've always said is that for a woman, and hey, this could be, you can agree with me or not on this, but I've always said, to me, females who don't know their worth, to me, they just like they have this I don't care attitude, and they don't, to me it shows in their presentation how they look. It shows how they carry themselves. And I always said, a trashy female will attract a trashy guy. Because if you don't know your self-worth, if you don't care about yourself, then he's not going to care. He's not going to look at you as something valuable. He's not, because you don't look at yourself like that. And that is 99.9% of men in today's world. I'm so glad I'm not in that dating lifestyle now, because I have coworkers and friends tell me all the time about dating world and dating scene, and oh my God, thank God I'm not there anymore. I'm not in that world anymore. But to me that is absolutely 100% true, that how a woman carries herself and how she holds her head up, and her beliefs and her values, that absolutely shows on the outside. And that is what a man sees. If a man sees that you have values, if he sees that you have worth, if he sees that you are confident, if he sees that you are strong-willed, strong-minded, that you ain't gonna take no BS, then most likely he's gonna be like, okay, well, I can't mess over that one. I see I gotta get my stuff together. And that's typically, to me, how you attract a good guy. But if you don't know that, to me, that's a recipe for disaster. So I am here to tell you today, for anybody who may need to hear this, and if you are, and if you are confident and you're good with who you are, then you know what? God bless you. More power to you. And I hope that you have that life, or is living that life that you want, that you know that you deserve. But for some women who don't, I really hope that this is an inspiration to you to find that courage to look within yourself and say, hey, why don't I deserve love? Why don't I deserve someone to care for me? Why don't I deserve that? And unfortunately, a lot of that stems from, past experiences. And to me, I'm always a firm believer, it starts in the home for anybody. I mean, from childhood age, growing up into adulthood, it starts in the home. I tell my daughter all the time that she's beautiful. I tell my daughter all the time that she's special. I tell my daughter all the time that she's a queen. Well, she's a mini queen. But I tell my daughter all the time that, hey, you are beautiful. Know that you're beautiful, and grow up and have that confidence. And my daughter is 8. And I tell her all the time. And to me, I feel like in the home, I feel like it molds them as they get into their womanhood to really look at themselves, and it's impacted in their brain, because they have been told that, hey, my mom thinks I'm beautiful, then I'm looking at myself and getting that confidence, starting to build that confidence. But unfortunately, some people who come from tumultuous backgrounds, who have never had anybody to tell them that you're beautiful, to tell them that, you are worthy. And unfortunately, it carries them into their adulthood. And then, a lot of times it doesn't end well for them. But that was one thing, that a promise that I made when I had my daughter. And I tell my guys too. I tell my guys, you are strong. You are meant to be the head. You are meant to be a provider. I tell my boys all the time. And my oldest one is 14. He'll be 15 in August. So he is tipping that pink of becoming into adulthood. So I always, of course, want him to know that as a man, you have got to have your stuff together. You have got to have your stuff together in order to even think about trying to provide for another person, a female, a wife in the future. And he's a teenager, but he told me, Mom, I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to realize, that I gotta have my stuff together. I gotta have my stuff together. And my youngest boy is 6. So as he gets older, I'm gonna implant in him the same thing, that you have got to have your stuff together, before you even think about trying to provide for a female or a future wife. Because a stable man will provide a stable home. And that's just being honest. And so, but as far as back to my daughter, I always tell my daughter, and that was one promise that I made was when I had my girl, is that I was going to teach her and make sure she knows her self-worth and how beautiful and how wonderfully created that she was, that she is, or that she will be. Wonderful, how God created her wonderful, how God created her different, how God created her, unique, and how God created her with a purpose. And so I always promised I was going to make sure that my girl knows, and I do, because I want her to know, and her, as she becomes a woman, I want her to go out there with that confidence and say, hey, I know I'm worthy. I know what I'm going to stand for and what I'm not going to stand for. And therefore, if you want me, then you're going to have to show me that you deserve me. And that's exactly the mentality that I want her to have. If you want me, you got to prove and show me that you want me the right way. And then that's it. There is no ifs and buts about it. So, ladies, I tell you, please, if you don't have any, what's what I'm looking for? Any sense of your self-worth, please just take a piece of what I said from this video. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, any comments, please DM me at the bottom. I will happily respond, and we can definitely, we all human. We all still learning. I'm adults. I'm in my adult life, and I'm still learning things every day. So we all have room to grow. We all have room to learn. So if there's any issues or any concerns that you may have, I will pray for you. I will pray with you, and we're in this together. We're in this together. So thank you for joining me on another segment of Aspire to Inspire with Hot Coco, and I will see you guys on my next video. Much love, peace, and happiness.